last night on Listen to Your Heart.
You do something to me that I can't explain. Hold me closer and I feel no pain. It requires a dedication.
Your voice is beautiful, but it almost comes second to how I could just tell that you guys feel about each other.
We are now halfway through Listen to Your Heart and the Listen to Your Heart recaps, and it's time to say goodbye to the usual rules, where new contestants come in and those without a rose at the end of the night are sent home. Because now it's time for the musical performances. That's right, the singing competition is about to begin. We left off last episode with Brandon telling Julia he still wants to work things out, after picking Savannah and not her at the rose ceremony. And Brandon's not wasting any time in letting Julia know what's up.
I knew you were going to get chosen.
I know.
I didn't want to send Savannah home.
How heartwarming. I knew you were going to be picked, so I gave my rose to the other woman I wanted to hang out with. Understand? So Chris Harrison enters and says it's time for the next phase of Order 66 and that no more people are going to be entering the house. Now that things are moving on to the judged performances, Chris Harrison only wants to see couples that are serious about taking the next step and moving forward with commitment.
If you're not, I ask you to respectfully pack your things
and get the out. Now, for some couples, this is an absolute no-brainer. Chris and Bree have already told each other they're falling in love. Natasha successfully consumed Ryan's soul last week, so now she owns him forever. Rudy and Matt patched things up. Jamie and Jed Wyatt are a lock, but as for everyone else, there are still some unresolved feelings that need to be worked through, especially when it comes to Julia, Brandon, Savannah, and Gabe.
I do feel like I can move forward with Savannah. So today I want to have a conversation with Savannah.
Okay, so Gabe, who we've barely seen at all, is going to shoot his shot with Savannah, who's already caught up in another love triangle.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Now, here's something I've learned over the years binge watching a lot of reality TV, especially shows like this. If someone has almost no screen time and then suddenly gains an unusual amount of focus, they're either about to do something incredibly dramatic, or they're about to be eliminated. And Gabe picks possibly the worst moment to go over to Savannah. She's just found out that Brandon is still into Julia.
There's no way in which I could honestly continue on the show if I wasn't coupled with you.
Alright though, let's see what Savannah has to say.
I adore the friendship that we have, obviously, but I don't know if there's like that romantic spark.
So Gabe is headed out. He lets Ruby know and she's like, that's okay, I was really only interested in Brandon anyways. Just kidding, she's sad. And Gabe and Ruby hit the back of the limo. Now the only decisions to be made are between Brandon, Julia, Sheridan, and Savannah. So Brandon goes to Savannah to figure things out. He explains how Julia's confession about her feelings towards him caught him off guard and it was tough to communicate after that.
And it caused a whirlwind of chaos in my mind, in my heart. And unfortunately, I didn't convey that the best to you, and I apologize for that.
Okay, you know what? Brandon's not such a bad guy. That was well said.
You want to do this, or you want to go home and cry?
Alright, I take that back. So Brandon and Savannah patch things up and are now paired for the performances ahead. And Julia is left in the lurch. Naturally, Julia decides, well, Chris Harrison said only serious relationships should move forward and I'm only interested in Brandon, so just like Gabe, I'm going home. Just kidding, she pairs up with Sheridan right away. Chris Harrison then comes back to let the remaining couples know about the opportunity ahead of them.
take these relationships to a much deeper level by playing and performing music together.
Each couple will be given a song. They will then perform it in front of celebrity judges as well as famous couples from Bachelor Nation. And the final couple, after all of the performances, they get to write songs with a producer and go on tour. And somewhere Jed Wyatt is watching this in total shambles. The couples then break off to find out what their songs are and to practice before the big performance. Most seem to be having a good time. Julia, though, is finding it hard to listen to Brandon and Savannah.
Trying to collaborate with Sheridan while living with Brandon is so freaking annoying.
And Chris Harrison is like, were you even listening to me when I said serious relationships only? Meanwhile, a date card has arrived at the mansion, because those are still a thing, and this one has Becca and Danny's name on it. Wait, Becca and Danny?
I don't know who these people are.
Remember what I said about people with no screen time suddenly getting some focus? Keep that in mind. On their date, the two get to play dress up with a vegan shoe designer and then hit the pool. Back at the mansion, Julia is on the attack because she thinks Savannah is like so fake.
I just don't know how to process people being so outrageously dishonest to get ahead.
And Sheridan is here like, am I a joke to you? So Julia pulls Savannah aside, and here's the clip.
Hey, look at me and know me. I'm gonna go after your dude.
Oh, sorry, that was the wrong clip, but, same vibes. So Julia says, hey, the way you and Brandon went from 0 to 100 after Chris Harrison told us to couple up, it feels fake.
Why is my relationship affecting you so much?
Because I'm into Brandon and I'm feeling jealous and upset and I'm taking that out on you? No, can't say that. So Savannah says, yeah, things have shifted because we chose each other. That day when Chris Harrison said, make your choice, we did. And after that, the question mark around the relationship went out the window and I felt a lot more comfortable. That's why there was an upward shift in the relationship. But you just can't convince Julia.
There is a disconnect. There just is.
Yeah, there just is, Savannah. There just is, okay? And Savannah's sort of like, what's up? Why do I need to be defending my relationship to you?
I actually feel I got attacked in this conversation.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get into your business or anything.
I don't have any feelings for Brandon.
Meanwhile, there's another date apparently commencing with Natasha and Ryan. They get to hang out with Chris Lane and his wife Lauren. Yep, that Lauren. Lauren B., Final Rose recipient from Ben Higgins' season of The Bachelor. They get to perform on stage with Chris during his concert that night. So the couples now all go through rehearsals, where Jamie cries because she just really doesn't want to suck, and we finally move on to the night of the performances. The judges for the night are going to be former Bachelorette Jojo and her beau Jordan, Jason Mraz, and Kesha. These judges are going to be deciding who stays and who goes based off of their musical performance and romantic connection. First up is Rudy and Matt, and say what you want about Rudy, but she can sing. I'm thinking, baby, you. And Jason Mraz is into it.
Rudy, I thought you were amazing. Matt, you did such a great job of just holding it down.
Yeah, good job of standing there, Matt. But the judges say while they did do a fine job overall, next time, try to turn it up a bit. Next is Chris and Bree singing Beyond by Leon Bridges, and Bree gets a little bit slammed on this performance for turning out to the audience too much while Chris stayed focused on her, but I kind of get where she's coming from. I'd probably be wondering this too. What do the judges want? Do they want me to perform out to the audience, which is normal, or stay with my partner so as to show our romantic connection? I doubt this will be much of a problem after this episode. Becca and Danny are next.
Oh, okay. It's like that, is it?
Love it. Start with a kiss.
And the reaction to these two is, well, I think this says it all.
Becca and Danny, they kind of just look like they were friends.
And it doesn't help that they end their song like this. The two get slammed on both performance and romance, so good luck at the rose ceremony. Next is Brandon and Savannah, and Julia is like, The two sing, Brandon makes this face, and Jason Mraz makes this face, while Jojo and Jordan talk romantic connection. And every time one of these judges gives them any sort of criticism, Julia's over here going, see, I told you.
Brandon and Savannah seemed like perhaps it wasn't as genuine or deep a connection. Ding, ding, ding.
Next is Julia and Sheridan, who sing As Long As You Love Me by the Backstreet Boys, which, how could any judge hate on that? Sheridan and Julia get top marks all around, even for romantic connection, because Sheridan really has feelings for Julia, and Julia did a great job of looking at Sheridan and thinking of this. Of course, though, Julia would never gloat about any of it.
I imagine this super painful for Savannah right now.
After Julia and Sheridan is Natasha and Ryan, and Natasha has some pipes. Jason Mraz is enamored. Natasha, you're brilliant. Ryan?
While you're also great, she is soaring all around you. Does that make sense?
Make sense, Ryan? Yeah, thank you, Simon Cowell. Finally, it's Jamie and Trevor, and all that worry Jamie had earlier, it ends up giving the duo top marks for showing vulnerability on stage. Alright, rose ceremony time. Why? Well, it's a Bachelor show, so don't ask questions, there always has to be a rose ceremony. Chris Harrison enters and gets to announce the couples who are getting roses. First is Jamie and Trevor. The two then get to give each other their roses. Next is Natasha and Ryan, followed by Chris and Bree, and then Matt and Rudy. Then it's
Julia, Sheridan.
And even Julia recognizes that she kind of pulled the wool over the judges' eyes when it comes to having a genuine romantic connection.
Ironically, they use the word genuine for me and Sheridan.
But that won't stop her from saying this.
I could not imagine taking the stage with anyone else.
Alright though, who's going to stay in the competition? Brandon and Savannah, or Danny and Becca?
Savannah and Brandon.
Meaning Danny and Becca are out. Not a total shocker considering the amount of screen time they got mixed with the judges' comments. Speaking of, Brandon is still dwelling on the negative comments he and Savannah got, and the positive ones that went Julia's way. So this drama, the love triangle between Brandon, Savannah, and Julia, is far from done. And that's it for week 3 of The Bachelor Presents Listen to Your Heart. Hope you enjoyed this recap, and be sure to like and subscribe if you did. The show is halfway over, but it looks like there's still quite a bit of drama ahead. So until then, Bachelor Fantake, out.
Oh, okay. It's like that, is it? Love it. Start with a kiss.